This is the Big Fish Cares Podcast. Big Fish Cares Podcast. And here's your host, Benny Fisher.
We're going to work on our Spanish today, everybody. We got Pancho Serrano on the podcast today. He's recently came from Mexico, living in Texas now, started a roofing marketing digital agency. Pancho, welcome to the show, man. Love that you're here today.
Hey, Benny, thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be in the show. I have been watching you and looking at your communication. Everything that you are doing is impressive, man. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, this is awesome. When's the first time you ever heard about me?
I don't know, man. Probably looking at your social media, becoming friends on social media. My network in my platform is pretty wide. Obviously, I only see the ones that are getting the attention because obviously I have, 20,000 friends in all the platforms, but I'm not looking at everybody. I think you got really a good communication campaign, a good strategy. You are collaborating with a lot of the big dogs in the industry, and not only in the roofing industry, man. I have seen you with Gary V, with all those guys. So, man, it's not hard to see you online, man. And that's because you do a good job, man.
Well, I appreciate that. They don't teach you how to do that when you're in school. See, I grew up in we didn't have social media. How old are you?
I'm 33, man.
33. So you're younger. So you almost kind of grew up with it, almost. Right when you got out of high school, they probably started social media, right?
Yes, man, but it's a funny story. I erase all my platforms because I was against that at that time, I just discovered social media platforms or start liking and start investing on them right now when I moved to the United States. When I try everything, how to sell commercial roofing as my first job when I moved to the United States. I try everything, man, until I discovered LinkedIn.
So why did you want to be in the roofing industry? What kind of dream is that, man?
No, it's a funny story, man. So I'm from Mexico, working in Mexico City, working as a sales consultant in the automotive industry, Nissan, BMW. Then I started
in the car business 22 years ago.
Nice. Where, man?
At a Ford dealership.
Dealers. Oh, nice. So I was in the headquarters. I was selling the cars from the manufacturer to the dealers all over Mexico. I was one of the. Okay. I was 24 doing that job, man. I did every mistake an entrepreneur or an executive can do, or a young executive, because I was really young. I didn't know what I was doing. I was there. I learned a lot. Then I had a girlfriend from Austin. I was in Mexico City. We start the relationship start getting formal. So she invited me to come. But here is the thing, man. She told me before I moved, it's hey, come here and I will help you with whatever you need in case there is something happen. I think my dad has a friend that can give you a job. I was okay, she's going to help me in case everything. I have a job. That's good. And I don't need anything else. I save a little bit of money and I decide to quit BMW, bank, and move to Austin.
All because of a girl.
We were going to get married. Actually,
how'd you meet her?
Man, it's a funny story. So she went to live in Belgium.
The show's all about funny stories, so go ahead.
I love stories too, man. So she went to live in, she doesn't like that I tell this story, but she was young, right out of college, went to live to Belgium. My cousin was in Belgium in the same company, man. So my cousin and my wife were in the same company in Belgium. And over there, when they were there, they discovered that my dad and her dad studied in the same university in Mexico, man, in a part of Mexico. But I am from the south. From Mexico. I am from Chiapas, man. Chiapas is the south border of the country. It's not even Mexico City, Cancun.
Yeah, you're all the way down. Like it's almost like living like if you're like in Minnesota, it's like living in Key West. Like it's like that far down. It's like all the way down. Beside
Guatemala. So my state is the one. I don't know if you remember when the migration situation was like really bad. The state?
I didn't pay attention to Central American history.
No worries, man. So my state is where all the people is coming, all the migrants are coming to the country. So that's the only reason why my state is known. So that's that I come from really far. So that's where I met my wife. Then my cousin got married in my hometown, and she went. My wife went to the wedding in Chiapas, and it was in my ranch. So
that's really you have an interesting immigration story then, because it's not like the typical one I hear, especially in the roofing industry, where guys are like smuggling themselves across borders. It's taking 2-3 weeks. Like, there's no food, there's no water, there's no shelter. They're like worried that they're going to get arrested. Like, you don't have that story. You were a guy working for BMW in Mexico, so you were already probably in the top, what I call 1%, 2% of people. But you're like, man, it was all about the girl, wasn't it? It wasn't about the American dream. It was all about the girl, wasn't it?
Yes, man. That's the story. Now, everything that you said is correct. The only thing is that I didn't have my papers when I moved. So I was doing everything without my papers. I was selling commercial roofing, and I opened my company without papers, man. So I was in the street. So that was similar to everybody that is here.
But
yes.
Did you get everything straightened out now?
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it took me a lot of time.
Listen, I hear stories that sometimes it's hard in America to get, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to do it the right way.
Yes, man. Actually, that's the reason why I am doing my podcast right now in Spanish, because for that people that have been living that life, man, because it's not easy. I respect them. And the only thing that I have to do is giving back to them, because they work their butt off, and it's impressive everything that they do. So, man, I'm gonna come back, Benny. I'm gonna come back to my story when I move, if you let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I moved. So I quit BMW. I moved. I got everything. I told you the story how I met my wife. Then I got that job. She was going to support me, and I got some savings. So, but the surprise was that the job that I was waiting here, first they told me, you are going to work in the roofing industry. And I was like, what the heck is the roofing industry? And then they tell me, that's not it. And then they tell me, you are going to be an independent sales rep. And I was like, what is an independent sales rep? And they were like, okay, you are not going to get a salary until you sell. I was like, man, I was waiting for my month-to-month paycheck, man. I didn't sign for this. And then they tell me, and you are going to sell roof coatings. And I was like, roof coatings? What the heck is that? I don't know. But the problem is that I didn't have any other option, man. I didn't have any other option. I couldn't look for a job. And that was.
Well, you could have kept freeloading from your wife or your girlfriend.
No.
Come on, man! She was your meal ticket, man.
But we didn't have any money, man. And my savings, man. My savings, I came with $3,000, thinking that I was gonna live like a king with those savings.
How many pesos is that?
That's like 60,000 pesos, man. Bro, so in pesos, my mindset was in pesos. It was like 60,000 pesos, man. I'm going to live like a king for 6 months. 3 months. I didn't have any money, man. Do you know what that make?
Man, you can spend $3,000 in a week now.
Man, I didn't know that, man. I didn't know that. So I start running out of money. So I didn't have my paper, so I couldn't go to look for a job for a normal job, like I used to say.
Right. Yeah.
But like my only opportunity was to sell those coatings, man. So I decided that's where my roofing adventure started.
Everybody's got such a great story of how they got in the roofing industry, right? Isn't it like nobody ends up here like on purpose? Like it's always like it was like a struggle. There's like a reason that we have to come here. How long did it take you to learn what roofing was and what coatings were?
So man, it took me like not that long because I didn't have like as an independent, so I didn't have sales meeting or something. It's like whenever you sell, come back to us. If you don't have a sale, don't call us. So
Did you speak decent English?
No, man, obviously not. No,
well, I don't know. I mean, like you're doing pretty well now, but I mean,
no. And these were the other part of my story. So I was like, I'm gonna start selling. How can I start selling? Cold calling. Everybody's talking about cold calling. Works every time. I start cold calling. The answer was, man, we don't understand you, what you are saying. So so I was like, a strategy, cold call strategy. Nothing. No, it's not working. Then door knocking. Obviously, I start seeing videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Door knocking.
One. Well, down in Texas, though, I feel like it's normal for a Mexican to knock on your door, right?
Yes.
Like it's not like up here. It's not up here in North. If this was up in Pennsylvania, they would have took a shotgun and pointed it at you. Back, you know what I mean? Because it's just not. They would have been scared.
Same in Mexico, man. That doesn't exist. Canvassing is not that popular as it is here. So I said like, door knocking, man. Everyone is talking about door knocking. Listen, man. I start door knocking for commercial roofing. The first 10 doors, 8 of them were like, man, the owner, we are not the owners. We are renting these buildings. Like, you need to go with the property managers and the owner. I was like, damn, that's right. So didn't work either, man. And I didn't like it.
You're on a scavenger hunt. You're on a scavenger hunt to try to find the owner.
Exactly, man. So I was like, damn, this is not working either. Then I try another strategy that you look for roofs on Google, commercial roof on Google, look at the age of the roof. If it's damaged, you look for the owner, then call the owner. Obviously, it was super complicated. Then it was cold calling. No, it didn't work either. Until someone told me, man, go on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I was like, I have LinkedIn since 2007, never used it, but man, I like social media. So I start creating content, man. That was 3 years ago, I start creating content. If you see my first content, man, my first post, they were awful, man, but I didn't stop. That was the difference.
Did you listen to Gary Vee?
Their first content? I have seen it.
Like, did you know who Gary Vee was back in the day? Because he always is talking about getting on LinkedIn. And for commercial roofing, LinkedIn's awesome, right? But
yes,
I want to go back to like what was life like in Mexico for you? Like, how did you grow up? Like, what did your parents do? Like, were you living well off? I mean, what was it like in Mexico?
So, it was a little bit different, like you see in the news. And if you are living in Mexico City and working in this big corporate, if you are living a corporate life in Mexico, you live a good life. You live in the one.
Like you're not living in a hut. You're not living. Yeah, like you got running water, right? Like you got toilets and stuff. Like you're not like in a village anywhere and like starving or anything like that.
No, man. Like. Thankfully, my family, like they believe in, like most of the people in Mexico, they believe in the university, going to school. So I did that. My parents, I went to the best university in Mexico. Then I studied my MBA there too. So that positioned me really well. I had really good connections in really good companies.
So how do you have an MBA? You're working a good corporate job, but you only have $3,000 when you get here. Like where do all your money go?
Because I told you that I did all the mistakes that you can make as an executive in Nissan and in BMW. Man, I was the worst behaved but like partying, going out with people, like all the mistakes that you don't need to do.
Like Pablo Escobar type stuff.
Not. That's too extreme. That's extreme. But something like
Miami,
that.
like Miami nightlife type of scene.
Exactly. Yes, because you have the money.
Yeah.
I was 25 years old, having the money in Mexico City, living by myself, single. I love to party. I stopped drinking I started drinking when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
Yes, man. Because and
Corona
that was the life.
or Corona or Dos Equis?
Everything, man. Caguama. With Caguama is the 40s.
All right, I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Whatever.
What kind of car? Did you drive a BMW? What kind of car did you have?
For sure, man. Series 4. And for
Force
free,
you.
man. For free, and they give us a new model every year. But that's only because we were a sales consultant and we were going to the dealers. We were like traveling all the time. Not everybody had a car. So yes, I had one. My family is a middle, low income family, but they gave everything they have, every single dollar they had, they gave it for me and for us to study in the best universities. So that gave me a lot of push. So I used to like party a lot, man. Like party, like heavy, like so. I was spending money, man. Yeah, actually, my sister used to call me. It's another last name, Carlos Slim. Do you know Carlos Slim?
No.
He's one of the richest. He's the richest Mexican. He was the richest Mexican guy in the world. Right now, he's like in the top 5.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, Carlos Slim. So my sister
he's up
used
there
to,
with like Bezos and like Bill Gates and like all those rich people.
Right now he's like in the top 10. He lost some position, but he's one of the top. My sister used to call me Pancho Slim because I used to live a life that wasn't mine, spending money, not knowing about personal finance. So I did really bad decision, man. I was like, I was really in the bottom in between.
You're just like all us American boys.
Exactly. Like probably you had something
fast and furious.
Probably you had a similar story, like doing bad decisions and spending money. Yeah, so it was something
spend it
like
fast
that.
enough. Spent more than I had. Learned how to use a credit card at a young age. Trying to impress people.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
So how did you? So what was it like when you told mom and dad I am moving to America? Like, were they excited for you? Were they shocked? Like, what was that like for them?
So for them, man, it was like they got happy for me, and so they still living in Chiapas, in the state that I was telling you in the south border, but I was living in Mexico City, so I wasn't living with them. And
that's
before
a long
that,
way, right? I mean, that's like far, right? Yeah.
1 hour away flight, not that far. It's not that extent that United States, but it is far. But before that, Benny, I used to live. They sent me to California when I was 14 to 15 years old to be an exchange student. So my parents in California, my mom was an exchange student in the United States too. So they were like, I don't know what we are doing, but we are sending these guys aboard. So that was when I was 14 to 15. Then when I turned 8, I come back to Mexico, to Chiapas. When I turned 18, I used to play wrestling. I used to do wrestling and American football in California. Come back to Mexico, start playing American football, and I did good, so I got a scholarship in college, man. You can get a scholarship like here. It's not that popular.
Well, yeah, it's not popular. I mean, they probably go out. I mean, I'd love to see what a Mexican-American football game looks like.
No, they have, for example, the Division A in Mexico, they play against Division 3. Like Division 1 against Division 3 in the United States.
Gotcha. So, that makes sense.
But I got a scholarship in Cancun, man. I got a scholarship in Cancun.
It's not a bad place to go for a party boy.
I was 18 years old. My parents were not going to spend anything in the college, so I went there. Then I moved to another city because I didn't do good in school. Then when I was in the university, I went to work in Walt Disney World in Orlando. I was a lifeguard there. for 6 months. Obviously,
you were just there to watch all. You were just there to watch all the other lifeguards.
I don't know if you have heard about those programs, man. The college programs in Walt Disney.
No, I don't know anything about them.
Okay, they are crazy, man. So they have a program where they don't pay taxes for all these people that comes from all the world. I'm sorry, and they all live in the same apartments. But I'm talking about 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 people working from Disney, living in the same place. So that's another experience that I had in the United States. Obviously, when I was younger, I used to come a lot, to visit Disney and to visit, do some tourists in the United States.
Was that was that like when you grow up in Mexico? Because I'm trying to understand the culture, right? Is it like a privilege to come to America? Yeah, does everybody want to come to America? Do people want to live here? What's the vibe about America when you're growing up in Mexico?
Depends, man. Depends. Everyone's dream is to visit, but not everybody can visit and then come back. But if you come to the United States to visit, it's because you have some money, because it's not cheap. Imagine doing for example, the minimum income in Mexico is $400 a month, man.
Really? Even right now?
No, I think that's what someone with university, with college. I think with everyone else, it's probably $200, man. $500. Not kidding, man.
How much were you making at BMW? What was the most you made there?
Right there, 2,500 the month.
A month.
Or a month. But
that's a good job.
Man, I was already part of the 1% of the. That was for me. It was.
That's crazy.
Because for rent, I was paying $700. Living cost is really low, and obviously I was young too. That didn't help, because if you are have a good position, and you are older, you can get more salary. But yes, a lot of people want to come live here, but I don't know. It's hard to explain, because I touch a lot of political situations. Not everybody wants to come, because living in Mexico, you live the life, man. Here, you are living all the time. You are for example, the American dream. People from Mexico or other part of the world come thinking that it's just like a dream. You are going to sit down and just start getting money. The American dream. Yes, man. Yes.
Is that what they tell you?
No. Some people think. I knew.
That puts it in your mind, right? America's the money, the money capital, right? So then you just start dreaming. On top of that, then you see Mickey Mouse and Disney World, and
exactly,
$100 bills,
movies,
and you're like, I want some of that.
Exactly, man. And what's the surprise? Whenever you come, actually they call it like that. It's not a dream; it's a nightmare, because you need to work hard, man, hard. First, get a job, man. Get a job first. And then you need to work hard.
Yeah.
Then the job, so people doesn't realize that. A lot of people, the good thing is that most of the people, Mexicans and from every Hispanics, they like to work, Oh, yeah. That's exactly. So they most of the people think like that. They like to work. So they say hey, if I'm getting paid. Actually, the salary, man, if I of a roofer or installer that is $60,000 or $80,000 a year, is a little bit over what the Mexican president makes. So even with my BMW position, I wasn't making what $60,000 a year, man.
Sure, my roofer makes $2,500 a day. Him and four guys split up $2,500 every day.
No, that 60,000 I went low, man.
Yeah.
So
wow.
If I'm a hard worker person and I'm making that money, man, I will do everything for it. because
how much
in
does
Mexico,
a house cost? Like where your parents live? Like, how much does a house cost? Like, how
that's the problem, man.
How much can I buy a really nice house for in your town down by the southern border?
Dude, you will think that you will buy it for like cheap for, I don't know, 100,000. The problem is that houses and real estate are pretty similar, man. Pretty similar as here. Yes, man. Dude, look for a house in Cancun. Yes, we are talking about Cancun. But the house is going to be 500,000. We were checking because we were like, hey, what if real estate in Mexico is cheaper? Start investing over there because I cannot buy a house in Austin right now because of the market. But man, the prices in Mexico were similar. So it was exactly the same buying a house in Chiapas or in Cancun that buying a house here. So the market that doesn't.
Well, Texas is cheap though. Texas is one of the cheaper markets at least around Dallas. I know. I don't know about Austin, but I know Dallas, man. You can get freaking palaces for less than $1 million, which are crazy. I mean, some of those houses they'd be 3 times as much in where I'm at. So.
Yes.
So tell me this: like, what's the worst thing? What's the worst thing you ever had to overcome? Like, what's the biggest piece of adversity that you've ever faced in your life?
I think living with a new family, being 14 years old, man, and a completely different everything. Everything was different, man.
Did they speak Spanish at all?
No, man, no. They're American.
And you didn't speak English.
No, obviously, no, man, no. Like,
un poco.
It was really, really rusty. I used to learn, like, they used to teach me in my whole life English, but it was like, what can you learn? It's like the Spanish that you learn in the school, man.
Yeah, gracias, adios, hola.
Exactly. Like, so imagine that.
Vamos. Donde está los baños? Yeah.
Yes, man. So that was one of the hardest. Why? Because I came from a culture that my parents let me drink. Imagine that. 14 years old, my parents let me do whatever I want. And I come to a new family, super disciplined. The dad was the coach of the football team, American football, and the wrestling coach. They moved a season. The wife, she was the one who sell all the T-shirts, all the marketing for the team and for the wrestling. Then they had 3 kids. 2 boys and 1 girl. The 3 of them play American football and did wrestling. Even the girl, man. And I came to the house. Yes, man. And I came to that house saying that I wasn't going to play football and I wasn't going to do wrestling, that I was going to play soccer, man. Imagine what they say when I told them that I was going to play soccer, that I didn't want to go to the football practice. Even they talked with the coach, man. So but I was blocked, man. I wasn't open.
Do you still know them? Do you still talk to them?
Yes, man.
Are they proud of you?
Yes, man. Because my mother-in-law or the stepmom, however you can call it,
time. Your exchange mom.
My exchange mom. She's my bookkeeping right now. She has a bookkeeping company. And she's my bookkeeper.
That's cool.
Now, man.
That's cool, man. Now, that's a good story.
And we went to visit
That's a good
them.
Story.
So, yes, man, I have keep doing that. Then another hard thing about your question is living in Mexico City, man. Life, like, you work 10 to 12 hours. Then you live in the traffic. Then you need to, like, be careful of don't get robbed while you are in the traffic.
What, then like your Volkswagen Beetle and everybody's honking, going,
Yeah. They come with a gun to your window. Only not to the Volkswagen. Only to the premium cars. So you are in the traffic, and they come in bikes, and they knock at your window with a gun.
The traffic in Mexico is crazy. I don't know how you guys. I thought New York City. I thought some of these places in America are bad. I tell you, Mexico is crazy. They drive like lunatics. They drive like lunatics.
Yes.
So, do they even have rules and regulations on the road? I mean, I feel like, does anybody ever get pulled over for anything?
The problem is that imagine you have millions of cars in the same road, so you cannot do anything, man. Like, you can do whatever you can.
You guys have a lot of roundabouts too, don't you?
Yes, man. Yes.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of like circles, and like people are just coming and going, and it's like.
And comparing, for example, Mexico City with Dallas, for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to go from one side to another, it's like 3 hours. In Mexico City, it's like 1 hour, but it's a really small distance. So you don't have, it's more the traffic in small distances than long distances like cities in the United States. You know,
wow.
Like without traffic, you do 10 minutes, but the problem is the traffic. So imagine that's like being knocked with a gun, and they ask you to give everything. They don't say anything. So you need to have techniques like having 2 walls and 2 cell phones, the original under the seat and the fake ones in the where they can see them. So when they come and knock at your door, you can give everything, but it's the fake one.
How often does that happen, you think? Like, how many times did that happen to you?
To me, it didn't happen, but to the people in BMW, twice, man. Twice, because like the top positions, they were all in BMWs, so they were the target. And a lot of my friends, like, it's really common, man.
Does anybody actually ever get hurt? Does anybody get hurt, or they just kind of like, it's just kind of like you just know to give it to them and they just like let you go, right? Like,
no, yeah, there is like there is stories too that they were like, if you don't give anything, they kill you, man. Yeah, there is.
Really?
Yes,
in the middle of broad daylight?
Yes, man. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Wow.
And more now.
Austin's got to be a little bit nicer to you then, right?
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. I moved to Austin, but I was missing Mexico City. Even with all those situations that I was telling you, but Mexico City, it is really hard to compare, like because they have everything. Like it's still in my heart. Have you been to Mexico City?
Just once, and it was only for like a layover, and I had to spend the night because the plane got delayed. But yeah, I didn't really get to see it too much.
Man, it's the best city in the world, man. The best city in the world.
Have you been to New York?
Not New York, but other Miami, San Francisco.
Listen, you gotta take me to New York City, man.
Let's go, man.
Up in New York. Let's go do it up in New York City. How long have you been married? When did you get married?
Yeah, 4 years ago when I moved here.
So you moved here, got married right away. What's your wife do?
She works with me right now, man. She used to work in really big companies too.
And so, are you still selling commercial roofing, or are you doing this digital marketing thing?
Yes.
Like,
I still selling commercial roofing, man. Because so I'm independent. So actually, when I create the company, so after I start selling, I'm gonna come back with my story because this is where it goes. So I discovered LinkedIn, start creating content, start getting attention. And I start selling. So the owner of the company was like, dude, was that Francisco, the one who didn't speak any English, 30 years old? Because the other reps were like 60, 50, 30 years, 4 years of experience there. And they were like doing independent. In like a lot of experienced sales rep, they prefer independent. So I was compared to them. So I started selling as a 30 years old. Start selling, and then coronavirus start. They closed the market 1 year after I was here. So I took a training, a digital training on internet. I bought it. After that training, after week 1 of they closed the market, I got the idea. Marketing agency for roofing companies. Name Roofers Going Digital. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to ask my father-in-law that he is the one who invited me to work in the roofing industry. And I asked him, and he was like, dude, you cannot open it. You don't have papers. And I was like, I saw on internet that I can. I didn't listen, and I opened it, man. So, and that's what I always share to my community is you don't need papers to open a company in the United States. I opened a company, and from that, I sold the service, the system, to the owner of the manufacturer. He bought it. And that was my first client that I still having today, starting 3 years ago. So the system, that's how everything starts. So I keep doing both things, and both projects are growing right now. Even the whole situation, like if you have a good marketing, a good company, you can, like, the world can be ending, but you are going to keep thriving if you know how to do it. And Benny, you know this.
I mean, I'm still learning. I mean, if you got any like hacks or any tricks, I mean, like, share them,
Okay. Yeah. What we specialize, our specialization is, it's linked social media, but like in the social media world, we specialize on LinkedIn and commercial roofing. If you ask me about residential roofing, it's not one of my strengths.
No, it's all right. You got your little niche.
We got a niche, yes. And actually,
rule number one in marketing: have a niche.
Yes, and more if you are starting. If you are new in everything that you are doing, because that's what I share to my communities. Leave, because a lot of roofing companies is like, I do everything. Man, you need one niche. The ones that are doing everything are the big dogs, man, because they have been on all the places. So don't lose focus. So about the marketing, LinkedIn marketing, what we do, Benny, is so in LinkedIn we can find property managers, facility managers, building owners, executives. Everybody knows that. But
are you using Sales Navigator?
We are using it. We are using it sometimes, and sometimes don't. Why? Because even with organic tactics, you can grow your network and your audience, and creating the right communication strategy to the right audience that LinkedIn is giving it to you already, even without paying. That's a game over. Because what's the problem with commercial roofing companies and social media? Like, people say like, oh, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, go on TikTok. The problem is that your audience is not there. Obviously, in our campaigns, in our system, we are gonna position you everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok,
Twitter.
Yes, man. But the most important, like the one that we are gonna pay most attention, is LinkedIn, because that's where our target audience is. So
do you go in and like, do a search for, like, let's say I'm an Austin commercial roofer. Are you then looking for like all property managers in Austin? Are you looking for CEOs in Austin? Are you looking for business owners? And are you just hitting connect and just trying to connect with them just to get them to follow you? And then you start producing content so that way they can see it. And then when they're ready, they buy.
Exactly. That's one tactic, man.
What else do you do?
Let me tell you why this tactic is so important. So the platform is telling you already, Benny, here are, for example, for the business brand, they give you 250 invitations per month. 250, man. And those are not with Sales Navigator. Exactly. No, but those ones, you can only send them if you have your personal, this is the trick. These 250 that you are going to invite from your business, you only can send them if you have a personal network. So if you have sent that 100 people in your LinkedIn, it's not going to work. So you need to add on your personal, and from your personal, you transfer to your business. So yes, you start inviting, and every week the platform gives you, even with the personal, the platform gives you a number of invitations. They don't tell you.
You should do this from your personal account, though, right?
Oh yes. You start with your personal,
not from your business, right? Like your personal's got better.
You do both. But for example, because one of the manufacturer, they are creating content. The owner is creating content with a personal brand, and the business brand is creating content. So the owner is doing the digital door-to-door, but the brand is getting those that the personal brand is getting. We are sending it to the business brand. That's not it.
Love that.
That's not it. There is a part that you can manage invitations. So once you send them, you need to erase them. LinkedIn never is going to tell you this, but you need to erase the invitations that you didn't get accepted. Why? Because LinkedIn doesn't give you more invitations if you don't clean it, if you don't clean those invitations. And the rule that we have is, if you send the invitation after 7 days, they are not going to either accept your invitation or follow your page. Why? because a lot of one of the
because they're not probably on there that often.
Exactly, that's one of the problems with opportunities. Not a problem. Opportunities with LinkedIn.
It's an opportunity. Yeah.
Is that they don't have
people that are moving. You just want to find the movers and shakers on there.
Exactly.
The ones that are and then you find the centers of influence, and then they're going to refer you to all their friends that are on LinkedIn.
Exactly. But what I discovered, Ben, is that you cannot do this strategy if you don't create content. Like they don't give you, because I was showing it to a roofer last week. I was like, hey, open your LinkedIn. I was showing it, and they were not letting me send to everybody. So what I think is that they start opening these algorithms. The more you have your profile optimized, the more content you are creating is the more invitations so the more time you invest in the platform is the more they help you. And that's the famous.
I saw that people are pushing articles. I see a bunch of my friends now are writing articles on there.
Articles?
And there's I could tell when they must have got a tip somewhere, because then I see them writing articles all the time. They never wrote an article before. They wrote 5 articles and then they stopped doing it because they probably got bored with it. But I see this new blog feature. It's almost like you can write your own blog on LinkedIn. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, you can. Yes, we don't do it. I saw that it has nobody's using it. It's one of
no one's using it, right? Yeah.
I saw that it's one of the tactics that I saw that LinkedIn is trying to see what they can do with, because nobody was doing it. So
it's probably like what Instagram does with Reels. It's like they're trying to get something moving over there. Let me ask you this question: Is it okay to post content that I would normally post on Facebook and just repost it on LinkedIn? Is it okay? Is that gonna or do people not want all that lighthearted, jazzy stuff, or does it always have to be about business?
No, man. So what Gary Vee will tell you is that each platform needs to have their own content, The problem,
their own a little twist or format, yeah.
Exactly, or the formal content, depending on your communication campaign. The problem is that we are not Gary Vee, and we don't have a team of 40 people behind us. So what I do is I publish what I publish in one everywhere, man. And the audience that see my post, it changes. And what happened with LinkedIn, it's really funny. The personal posts and not work related are the ones that are having more push.
Because people are people.
Yes.
People still want to see when you have a baby. They still want to see when you have some fun.
Exactly.
They don't want to keep seeing these boring articles all day long about the economy and about your product, about your service. I mean, humans are humans, right? I heard the good hack on LinkedIn is tag as many people as you can write in the post.
Yes.
I heard that's a good one, to where if you can include people in your post, that usually gets a lot of results. I've learned that if you can edify people on LinkedIn and you can promote people on LinkedIn, that's really good for the algorithm. So when I go on, we'll do a screenshot. I'll post you up there and I'll write a little something about you and I'll tag you, and then your audience can see that. My audience will see that. Then there'll be all these new people. Then you go in and then connect with them, right? You like it, little reply, connect. Oh, they get into my funnel, right? And it's just a big old happy world.
Yes. You can do it. You can do it in the natural way, so it looks more aesthetic. Whenever you post it, you put the link in my name, my company, your company. We did the podcast, YouTube. If you type YouTube, or you can do it in the more aggressive way, and put all of them in the bottom. The way we do it, we are talking with property managers. We try to keep it the more professional possible, because we are selling quality, we are selling professionalism. So a lot of those tactics that are really aggressive, we don't do them, like those ones, because I can show you some posts later, because, for example, we structure a post. The posts are not I'm just gonna, for example, everything that I always see is I sell commercial roofing services. Call me now, my number and my email. Dude, do you think a property manager is gonna call you from that?
No.
No. Exactly.
You gotta give them value. You gotta give. Jab, jab, jab. Hook.
Exactly. And those posts, they are structured. What do I mean with the structure? They have a strong header. The strong header talks about...
You got to get that attention.
And you are talking directly to your target audience. It's going to have property manager there. And the other part of the header is going to have the pain point solution. So it's going to have... The other day we create one. Are you don't lose your job because a leak if you are a property manager. Look, the impact that we have because we told the property managers that they were going to lose their job because of a leak was incredible. That was the header. Then we start with an introduction, trying to talk about the problem. Then we go with bullet points. They can be descriptive bullet points or normal bullet points. Conclusion, call to action, hashtags. That's only the content.
How do you find your hashtags?
We base on.
Do you just make stuff up based on the article, or do you actually do hashtag research?
Normally we apply 5 of them. The 5 more basic. That is the location, the service, the industry, the target audience, and the topic of the topic that we are talking about. That's one tactic that we do. And the other one is the other one that we put like 30, 20 hashtags talking about everything. But that one is a really old school. Actually, I have heard that some platforms are like punish you if you have too much. So we do both of them. And it looks like it's the same what we were saying with the tagging everybody. It looks like
you confuse the algorithm.
Exactly, and it's too much. You don't need it. And so
how many jobs, how much revenue do you think you've sold off of a LinkedIn connection in the last 4 years since you came to this country? How much business has been created through you, whether it's been you directly to selling your own roof jobs or you've helped other people sell roof jobs on there? How much revenue do you think you've managed to swirl up in the last 4 years off LinkedIn?
Probably in the company, man.
Just like you helping other roofers or you helping yourself, just throw out a number, ballpark.
Yes, look, I'm gonna tell you. So what we are charging to the manufacturer, the results are being between 4 to 6 times what they are generating, but what they are investing, it is like between 5,000 to 6,000 a month. So it's not a cheap system, but the results are there. We are probably $1 million, but it is hard to tell you, Benny, because I am selling.
All right, how many roofs? How about this? How many roofs have you sold just off LinkedIn?
Only myself, 1 million since I start.
What do you mean? That's $1 million more. That's $1 million more than you had when you got here.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And I made a mistake, Benny, that I want to tell this about to all your audience. Is that...
All right. Don't make this mistake.
Focus in one project at a time. Don't try to be right now I see a lot of roofers that they do everything. They do solar. We just said it already. They do all type of service. Solar, wrap, roofing, residential, commercial. So what I did is I was only for 1 year selling coatings, and then I moved to the other two roofers going digital. That made me lose my focus in the projects. That I don't recommend it. After I opened the company, I started focusing on that. My sales on the coatings went a little bit low, but I didn't stop. That's the good thing. I didn't stop. So right now that I'm keeping both of the projects going on, it's hard, but I'm in the stage that finally they are both growing and recovering. They are, but I don't recommend it, man. Stay with one of the keys to success.
I have trouble with that personally. So I'm trying to do two different things, right? I own a roofing company, a local roofing company in Pittsburgh, but I'm having so much more fun, shining a light on the whole industry overall, from a macro standpoint. And then helping other business owners with systems, processes, sales, marketing, branding. That it's hard to have two messages. It's hard to still be the local roofer, and then still hard to do that. But I don't know. I'm just being me though. So what would you recommend to a guy like me to do on LinkedIn? What do you think would give me the most traction?
So first, and I think you are doing it, is have a personal brand campaign. Create content from your personal brand. You know personal brand. I don't have to tell you this. Probably people in the audience doesn't know it, but a personal brand has 8 times more impact than a business brand. That's marketing 101. Then, so your personal brand is the first one. Then your business brand. Your business brands need to be creating content every day. And Benny, when I'm creating content, and a lot of my strategies are the same way, I'm not saying that you need to appear in the video every day saying something. You can create different type of content. For example, written content. I have post written content without image and without video, and has more impact than a video that everybody's talking about video right now. And you know, it's the most powerful. Don't get me wrong, but LinkedIn.
I'm building a content team over it.
Exactly. Yeah. So yes, but written content, don't forget about that. If you can get a designer, so what you need to do is create a team that is creating content without you, man. That is going to be the secret.
I know. And that's the secret. And then somebody else to post it. I don't even want to post it.
Exactly. No, right now the content that you see in all with myself, my company, and my clients, thankfully, man, thanks God, I don't have to do anything, man. I was able to build a team that even with my personal. A lot of marketeers are gonna say that doesn't look original, that someone else created for you, for a personal brand, for example. I completely agree. The content you can notice a difference when I post and when my team posts. Obviously, I check everything, but mine's come from all my knowledge and my 4 years, and theirs come from their experience that is different. But the problem is, or I build a company. Right now, I'm struggling building a company that I'm just starting. Probably if I was a business owner like 5 years, 7, 10, it would be different. I will have more time. But right now it's being difficult, so I am letting my team to create everything. But I don't have to. I can invest the time in my podcast, in your podcast, on events, so I can focus my thing. So don't forget about those type of content, Benny, the ones that you don't have to appear on them, because try it. Try after the call. Put some, or tomorrow in the morning that, mornings or LinkedIn is better. Do a written post, or probably you have done it, without picture, without anything. Obviously, optimize it with a strong, like a good post, and you will see that you can get even 2,000 views only on LinkedIn, man. And that's incredible part. It's like the views that you can get only with one post, not even with door knocking, not even with any of the strategies that we can talk about it right now. You are going to have that reach. So I tell you, Benny, go with your personal.
I really appreciate this knowledge, man. This is good.
Man, I feel that
this is a good episode. If somebody's really looking to learn how to dive deep on LinkedIn, I feel like you're the guy.
Man,
you're like the guy.
And this is only one part. For example,
what questions do you got for what? Go ahead.
Uh-huh. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have any questions for me?
No, Benny, I didn't prepare any question. I let you. My questions are gonna be.
That's all right. I was just curious.
Hey, my questions are gonna be in my podcast, man. You already have the invitation. I already sent it to you. You need to come in my show. It's for the Hispanic community. I have it in Spanish and in English. Focusing
my Spanish is a little rusty.
No worries, man. That's why I have it in English. And in that one, I will get all your information because I know you have a lot too. We can focus right now on LinkedIn for your audience right now, and I will need your time for mine. So let's keep here. And
all right. So
what I was saying before is that the tactics that I just say right now, those are organic tactics. You don't have to pay anything, and those are only organic. If I start talking about paid, we start with Sales Navigator. And that's a complete different strategy that people think that buying Sales Navigator is the same. It's going to be the game changer. Oh, I'm already paying it. You need to have a strategy there too. And a strategy, why? Because you have invitations. You have emails, 50 emails. What is that? you can reach everybody. So Sales Navigator, fam, what they do is that when you look for, when you use the directory without paying, LinkedIn only shows you a part of the audience. What the LinkedIn says. Benny, if you want me to open the full directory, you need to pay me $100. So whenever you pay for Sales Navigator, they open the full directory. If I look for property managers right now, Benny, I'm going to find 400,000 property managers all over the country. If I filter for Texas, 29,000 property managers, man. Who is reaching on them, on that platform, man? Nobody, man. Obviously, nobody, man. And do you know what's the funny thing? Is that they are suffering because they don't have someone to help them with their roof, man. You know, roofers suffer.
Yeah, they just want to be friends with somebody on. Yeah, they just want to be friends with somebody on LinkedIn because no one. That's what's cool about LinkedIn. It's not like Facebook or Instagram. You're not on there. You're only on there for business. I mean, you're only on there trying to help yourself in business. I mean, it's
and they need roofers, man.
Well, that's good stuff, man. I really appreciate you being here.
This
is
you're
a
welcome.
Good show. I like. I got 5 questions. I got 5 questions I ask every guest.
Let's go.
Imagine that I'm putting you on an island completely by yourself, okay? What book are you going to take with you?
Damn. So one that I want to read right now that I have in my in the list is Rocket Fuel, the visionary and the
integrator.
Integrator. Yes, because right now that my wife is working
that book. That book changed my life.
I need to get it after this.
Yeah, I read the Bible. It's the Bible and then Rocket Fuel.
Oh, damn.
That's it.
Damn.
In that order. Bible, Rocket Fuel.
Okay.
All right. Okay. What movie you taking with you?
I think 300, man. 300. I need to be ready.
Sparta!
I need to be pumped up in case something happens. We are Sparta, man.
How tall are you?
5'10", man. 5'10".
All right. So you got some good size to you. Mm-hmm. All right, you're allowed to build a restaurant on this island. You can pick any restaurant. It can be famous. It can be one in your backyard. What restaurant are you taking with you?
I will do some tacos and sandwiches. That is my best dish. My tacos and my sandwiches mainly are the best ones.
So wait, you're gonna build your own restaurant with your own food?
Yes, man. Yes, with everything that is in the island.
First time. You're the first guest that's ever told me you're going to build your own restaurant from scratch. And that you're not going to put a barbecue place over there or a fancy restaurant like a steakhouse. So that's cool. All right, you're allowed to take one trip. You can go anywhere in the world for 1 week. Where are you going to go?
I think Germany or Japan, man. Germany and Japan.
Which one? That's 2 different
Germany,
answers.
man.
Which one?
Germany.
Why do you want to go to Germany?
So my first job was in a German insurance company called Allianz. They are the biggest insurance in Germany. All the people that was in Mexico City. Then I moved to BMW. If I didn't come here, I was gonna live in Germany to study a master there and move there and start working there, look for a job, because I want to be with the best, man. I want to be with the top dogs. I know I am one, so I know I can build whatever I want anywhere I want, man.
You're a beast.
Thank you, man.
Last question for you. You can spend 24 hours with one person. It could be someone famous, someone that you know, someone that's been in the past, someone that's alive. Who are you spending 24 hours with to pick their brain?
I think John Maxwell, man. John Maxwell or Zig Ziglar, one of the old school guys. I believe that...
John Maxwell. I just met him.
Then where?
I was at RoofCon. Me and him met backstage at RoofCon.
Damn, yeah.
I was shooting content. See? I was shooting content. I have my content team out there. And got his attention, got to meet with him. It was a special thing. So
damn, do you know what I believe, Benny, is that older people has all the knowledge. that's why I didn't say Gary Vee, because Gary Vee, even if he's a beast, don't get me wrong, I feel the older guys, the top dogs, exactly, they are like...
Yeah, they got a lot of wisdom. Wisdom.
That's what I did when I moved here, man. I shut up and I start listening to the older people, man. And that's why I learned from...
If you would have said Gary Vee, I would have introduced you to him. But since you didn't say it,
No, I want to, man, because I saw that he's going to shows, to podcasts and shows from like ours, like it's not like a them.
No, he does. He's a good guy. I was actually just talked to him, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. So, well, listen, Pancho, I really appreciate you coming on the show. If somebody wants to get a hold of you or get more information from you, what's the best way to find you?
Okay. Yes, man. It's gonna be easy. Pancho Serrano on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. There is like Pancho Serrano. There is no other thing. Or Roofers Going Digital on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. And all of them, we are creating content every day, man. Every day. So there is no way you are not going to find us. If you go on Google, you are going to find us. Our website, if you want to set a consulting call with me, I am going to change it in the next week to discovery calls because we are getting traction, so I'm getting too much calls, so I'm going to start filtering them. But consulting calls, I am doing it for free to the community. So like if someone has questions, they don't have to buy for me. And if they are Hispanics, if you are Hispanic and listening to this, you have a special treatment because of my purpose that is helping that community, but everywhere, man. My website, roofersgoingdigital.com. My cell phone, 915-222-0119.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate it. If you guys got value out of this podcast, like, subscribe, put in the comments, hashtag LinkedIn. Let us know you're listening. And we'll see you again on another edition of the Big Fish Cares podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Big Fish Cares podcast.